I learned this trick at a famous restaurant. Now I only make pork like this. I'm going to start by adding 1 kilogram of pork into a pot with boiling water. Then I'll cover the pot and let it cook for 7 minutes. After the time, I'll remove it from the pot and dry it well with paper towels. Tell me, how do you make pork at your house? I'd love to know your recipe. Now I'll cut the meat in half. In a pan, I'll add olive oil, the pieces of meat, at this point, I'll season with a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of dried parsley, and I'll mix it all together to incorporate the seasoning. I'm happy you're enjoying our recipes. And let them fry until all sides are browned. After mixing it very well, I'll add 1½ cups of beer, a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and mix again. Make this pork recipe at home and then come back here to tell me what you thought. I'm sure you'll love it. I'll cover the pan and let it cook for 20 minutes. Once you make this recipe, it'll become a routine at your house. Because besides being easy to prepare, it turns out really amazing. To finish, I'll add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and spread the sauce over the meat. And our recipe is ready. Look how delicious it turned out.
I only make pork ribs like this, in orange juice and without frying. Orange juice, and I'm going to add 1 kilogram of pork ribs. You'll be amazed by the final result of this recipe. It's the best way to prepare delicious pork ribs. But remember, you'll only learn these tips here. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for 5 minutes. Now I'll add a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of chimichurri, and 3 cloves of chopped garlic. I'm going to mix everything. This recipe has some steps where we need to mix the ingredients well, so take your time, and you'll get an amazing result in the end. And the best part? It's great for any occasion. It's a fantastic option if you want to surprise people at home with a great dinner. Try it out. Let it cook until it reaches this golden color here. The smell is already incredible, and I'm sure the flavor will be perfect once it's done. Now I'll add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and a cup of water. I'll cover it again and let it cook for 20 minutes. But we're not done yet. I'm adding a tablespoon of ketchup, a tablespoon of barbecue, a tablespoon of mustard, and a tablespoon of honey. Then I'll mix it again. I love this recipe. I'm sure you and your family will love it too. I make it every weekend, and there's never any left because my family loves it and always asks me to make it again. I bet you're finding this recipe pretty easy to make too. If you like this preparation method, you'll love my upcoming tips. I still have many other secret recipes that I'll teach little by little, so stay tuned for more. It will look like this, with this color. This is the perfect doneness. Now just transfer it to a plate and try this delicious dish. It's a simple recipe, but the secret is in the combination of ingredients I used. If you get the right amount of each ingredient, I'm sure it will be perfect, just like mine. You can also add some parsley if you want. These tips are exclusive, so keep following me, and you'll never have trouble making dinner again. I'm here to help you with the best preparation methods, and surprising the people you care about with a delicious dinner is a great idea. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. See you in the next video. Bye.
After I discovered this recipe, I only make pork ribs this way, without frying. I'll start by placing 1 kilogram of pork ribs in a pot with boiling water. Tell me, how do you make pork ribs at your house? I'd love to know your recipe. Cover it and let it cook for 2 minutes. After that time, we'll season it. I'll add a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, and lastly, 5 cloves of garlic chopped. I'll cover the pot and let the water reduce. Look, it's already reduced quite a bit. And before I forget, tell me which city you're watching us from, so I can send you a special shout-out. Today's shout-out goes to Deborah Thomas from Chicago. I'm happy you're enjoying our recipes. I'll add 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of pepper sauce, 1 tablespoon of honey, and mix very well to combine the sauce with the ribs. Look at how our delicious recipe is already turning out. This recipe is a huge success at home. Every time I make it, there's nothing left. Now, I'll add a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, half a cup of water to finish cooking and add a great flavor. I'll cover it and leave it for 5 more minutes. This pork ribs recipe turns out incredibly delicious. Make it at home, and then come back here to tell me what you thought. I'm sure you and your whole family will love it. It's ready to serve. I'll sprinkle chive to taste on top. Look how juicy it turned out. Now just enjoy. I learned this trick at a famous restaurant. Now I only make pork ribs like this. In a pot with boiling water, I'll add 1 kilogram of pork ribs and leave it for 2 minutes. After that time, I'll flip it over and leave it for another 2 minutes on the other side. Tell me, how do you make pork ribs at your house? I'd love to know your recipe. After that time, I'll take it out of the pot, put it on a cutting board, and cut the pieces on the softer part. I'm glad you're enjoying our recipes. Once that's done, I'll coat them in flour to bread. I'll do this with 1 piece at a time. In a pot with hot oil, I'll add the pork ribs to fry. Once golden, we'll flip them to fry the other side too. Our recipe is already looking delicious. I'm sure you'll love the result and will want to make it all the time. At this point, I'll take it out of the pot and set it aside. In the same pot, I'll add 2 tablespoons of butter, stir until it melts. Next, I'll add 2 onions cut and let them fry for 2 minutes. Now I'll add a teaspoon of salt, black pepper to taste, a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of paprika, and mix. These onions will add a lot more flavor and tenderness to the meat. Now I'll return the ribs to the pot. I'll add rosemary to taste on top, then 1½ cups of beer. This will give a special touch to our recipe. I'll cover the pot and let it cook for 20 minutes. After this time, I'll remove the lid and add a cup of tomato sauce and just stir and cover it again. It will cook for another 20 minutes. Our pork ribs are ready. To finish, I'll add parsley to taste on top. Now just enjoy. These ribs are incredible made this way.